Hey guys, and welcome back to Okami. Last time we dealt with the not Minish, and I'm not really sure where the story's going from here, but I'm sure our old pal Richie has the details, so spill it, mate. What's this about Spirit Gate?
You know, I have no idea. Like, I think I must have amnesia or something, because I have no idea what's going on. No, in all seriousness. So, there was the thing called the Spirit Gate, which was mentioned, which nobody ever goes to, because, you know, it's dark and evil and confusing and so on and so forth. Right. But it looks like Lika, who is the little girl from Webkir, who is the only one left who can do the volcanic incantation, gone through there. So we kind of need to go find it and go through to try and rescue her. So that's basically our plan for the time being. And little Mia, who we saw in full form last part, is coming here and having a go at Isun for being an asshole and basically saying, come on, you were meant to be a celestial envoy? Do your frickin' job. And Isun's just being like, no, I'm going to do my own thing, thanks.
That little guy in ye olden times, like way back with Shiranui, is that the correct name?
Yes.
Was that person, or Ponkle, a celestial envoy as well?
Yes, they were indeed.
Okay, just so I have, you know, an idea of, you know, how these mechanics work.
So basically the whole point of the Celestial Envoy is to spread the word of the gods to the people of Nippon, and in doing so they bring praise and power that gives the gods strength. So that's the whole point, but obviously since Army's, you know, been asleep for 100 years, and everyone's forgotten about the gods, it's because there's not been a Celestial Envoy, because, well, they need to, because there was no god to envoy for. Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of an interesting take on a faith-based deity that's, you know, an actual positive for the people of the world. Like, they can get on, but they get on better if the god was around. But if the god's not around, I guess it's just like us in modern day.
Pretty much, yes. And now we have inner Yoshpet to travel through. Boy. So it's very much like outer Yoshpet, except rather than Kai leading us, we've now got Isun leading us. This is much more difficult to traverse than the first bit was, because you've got a lot more ice, you've got thorny vines that move, it's much more difficult, and also your timer is, I think, a bit tighter than the last one, but the same situation applies of you don't really need to spend your time sitting trying to bloom these things. I'm going to do it for a little bit, I feel, because I think I was just like, I'm so close to fully maxing out all of my stuff. I just want to do this right now.
Well, it's the completionist's temptation, I think.
Indeed. I think I'm like 12 away from managing it, so it's just like, just come on. I'm pretty sure that, much the same as the first outer Yoshpet, there's also the situation where at the end of each section there's a fork. Down the wrong fork is an item, down the right fork is the way out. But we will confirm that shortly, because, to be fair, while I was feigning forgetting everything earlier on in this part, I have actually forgotten that bit, so...
Looks like the tables have turned, Mr. X-Gamer Retro.
Indeed.
I gotta say, I'm still riding high on Summer Games Done Quick 2017 hype. Sorry to date the video, but this is how we do things here at HellfireComms. And man, the fucking Shadow of the Colossus time attack run was mwah! It was one of those with the Italian guys like making soup. He's like, that's a nice and spicy meatball. But it was a sub 50-minute run, and it was amazing.
Oh wow. That does sound amazing. I'm just riding high off of finally watching Wonder Woman, which was actually really good, and also having seen Baby Driver, which is amazing, and I love it.
Yes, the Edgar Wright film.
Yes, love a bit of Edgar Wright, and he's not done me wrong yet. So, I'm very happy with Baby Driver.
I think the last Edgar Wright film I watched was... It was either Scott Pilgrim or The World's End. It may have been The World's End.
Well, Either way, like, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is amazing.
Oh yeah, it really is.
The World's End has a bad reputation for being the weakest of the Cornetto trilogy.
It is, you know.
And it is. But I would say that it's actually it's a much cleverer film than most people give it credit for, and it is actually really good. It's just, it takes a few rewatches, I feel, to properly come to grips with exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
It's not one of those you watch it and you just get everything. It's a build-up from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and it starts to subvert your expectations with regards to the tropes that are built up throughout that film series. So, yeah, so I'm quite happy.
I gotta say, I never realised how JPEG-ass these walls of thorns are. They look like just a flat image, really.
Yeah, they are indeed just flat, which, yeah, it's not ideal, but, whatever.
Didn't really need to be, filled with polygons and whatnot. It's doing its job just fine.
Exactly, and to be fair, I think, considering, like, the trees and stuff are also 2D, I think we can forgive the thorns.
Yeah. So, any miscellaneous trivia about any Yoshpet to share while we're bumming about finding items and whatnot?
Unfortunately not, if only because... So, anything to do with Ainu culture, which is the actual culture that all of the Oina stuff is based on,
yeah,
is actually relatively rare on the internet, I feel. Like, I remember doing some research into it when I did my solo run, and it being one of the things that I struggled the most to find stuff for. And I suppose in that way it is sort of the same as the Native American situation, although I suspect that there's probably more stuff online about that than the Ainu culture. But then it's sort of the same vein, I feel, in terms of stuff that people don't actually really know much about.
Yeah, it's kind of buried, really.
In general, anyway. So yeah, it's much more difficult to locate, and I would not be able to find the sources I used the last time for the life of me, because I just don't have the time to do so.
Oh, we're just avoiding that fight then?
Well, yes, because you've got to get through this area on that time limit. Getting into a fight is just a stupid idea, because it's not going to be over quick enough for you to get through the area. Considering I'm going at a slightly slower pace than I probably should be, because I'm trying to bloom trees, it seems, and also get all of the chests, I need all the time I can get my hands on. As you can see, I'm already, well, I was at just under 2 minutes there to get through, and while there are going to be things popping along throughout, yeah, I kind of need all the time I can get, because this is quite a long section, and I believe if you fail you get sent back all the way to the start.
Oh.
At least that's what I feel to be the thing.
Oh.
I mean, that would have happened in a Yoshpet as well anyway, but that was a lot shorter, and also a lot easier, to be fair, because you don't have catwalk walls to be moving across and lots of ice.
You mean regular Yoshpet, right? We're already in a Yoshpet.
Outer Yoshpet, I mean. Too much Yoshpet. You see, my brain is getting ready for what is about to come, and that's why this part is as long as it is, because we are going to be getting so much plot over the next 3 parts.
Drown me in it!
That really, my brain is just waiting for that to occur, and it's really not that bothered by Inner Yoshpet, because this is just a sort of minor little thing.
Yeah, just a mini-game, really. Your brain barely registers it.
Pretty much. I mean, it's the source of a actually quite frustrating mini-game a little bit later on, but we will deal with that when the time comes.
Interesting place to keep a sun fragment. Is that missable forever?
No, because you can always run through inner Yoshpet and outer Yoshpet.
Okay.
If you wish to, whenever.
I got you.
It's not locked off to you, thankfully.
Hello.
But here we go. There is the Spirit Gate. And I would heartily recommend you save right now, because this is going to be your last chance to do stuff in the world of Nippon for a little while.
Ah, okay.
Basically, after this, you're going to be locked in to plot until it is done. Not until the end of the game, but until this little mini arc is complete.
I don't know why. I expected something more ethereal. This seems man-made.
Well, I wouldn't say man-made.
Okay. Okay, so the Podcalls looked after it. Makes sense, I suppose.
Needlessly opening it invites disaster, because obviously, you open any sort of gate that shouldn't be opened, it's gonna bring chaos, because Kingdom Hearts, massive set of doors, brings darkness, although Kingdom Hearts is light.
Yeah. Never really got an answer for that one.
Gates of Hell, that tends to cause chaos. That sort of stuff, but yeah, Isun's being a badass.
Oh, that was dope.
And opening up the Spirit Gate.
That was dope, right? So, can like only a Poncle open that with a Poncle-sized blade?
Well, only the Poncle that wields, I believe it's Denkamaru, can open that.
Okay.
So, it has to be that sword, I feel. Which, by this point, you should obviously realise that Isun is Ishaku's grandson.
Obviously, yeah.
And so, yeah, Isun kind of nabbed that blade, so to speak. And yeah, Ami's just like, you being an idiot?
Oh!
Can we just get on with this, like?
God, you popped out of nowhere. I just like Oki standing there waiting for Isun to finish.
You can tell Ami kind of is sort of waiting for him, you can sense. Like, Ami's a lot more intelligent than sometimes she appears to let on.
Well, she's a goddess, of course she is.
Well, exactly, yes. So, with Rao and that Ninetales situation, obviously Ami just tossed the Fox Rods over to Rao, but it was with sort of the expectation of what was about to happen.
Yeah.
In a way, Oki needs to come with us on this quest through the Spirit Gate, because Oki thinks that this is how he accomplishes the prophecy.
Right.
He needs to get Kotone to glow silver, and he believes that that is going to be through the Spirit Gate.
Oh, Isun, you should read up on lore and prophecies, mate. This stuff is second nature to me.
Indeed. And also, obviously, there's the joyous thing with prophecies of, well, they're always correct in these sorts of things, but also they're never quite what you expect them to mean.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta say, design-wise, just looking at Oki, his face reminds me of Vmon a little bit from Digimon, but his hair...
It's because he's blue.
You know, and he just looks a bit like Vmon, sure, and his hair is like Zoroark from Pokemon.
Yes. I feel the Zoroark comparison is a bit more apt, but I do see where you're going with the Vmon because it's the long, pointy ears.
Yeah, and the fact that he's blue!
And the blue. But I would say Zoroark's a more apt comparison.
Alright, let's stop hemming and humming, get inside that gosh darn Spirit Gate.
Indeed, because we want plot to occur.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
Indeed, it is not.
Don't trust self-closing gates. guys. It's never a good thing. Isn't this the village from the start of the game? Yeah, Kamiki Village.
Well, it certainly looks exactly like Kamiki Village. And look at that little sapling, isn't it cute?
Wait a minute. Did we go back to the past, Washa?
Well, I mean, there is this dinky little seedling here, and look at this cute little girl.
Oh,
isn't she adorable?
Adorably familiar, yeah.
So yes, this is Shakuya.
Oh.
Because, you know, clearly she can't pronounce things correctly just yet, because she's a little girl.
Okay, well that's one way of keeping a secret, I suppose. I've already seen what a couple of the parts ahead of time have caught me. You can't keep this conspiracy from mine eyes.
I mean, yeah, you look even one part ahead, it's abundantly clear what is going on.
We've travelled back to the past. There! I said it, okay? It was obvious. I'm not spoiling a gosh darn thing.
Yes, and I remember when I first played this, I was kind of just like, oh my god. Oh my god. Because, yeah, so we've gone back in time, and it's 100 years ago, which, funnily enough, is when the legend of Orochi took place.
Does that mean we have a chance of running into Shiranui?
It doesn't indeed mean that we have a chance of running into Shiranui. It also means that we have a very strong chance of running into Orochi.
Oh, that's the not good one.
But the good thing is, we are full!
I'm blooming! I'm exploding! How are you still living?
No, Tom. This is certainly Gramps, but it is not the Gramps we're expecting.
Oh, is it the Gramps of the Gramps?
Something like that, I feel. So, hopefully he will tell us his name in a minute, but actually this is Mr. Grapefruit.
Ah, I see. I was going to say Mr. Lime, but grapefruit's sort of a green fruit.
I know, but no, it's Mr. Grapefruit. At least I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Grapefruit. It's something like that, but you may notice that something seems particularly odd. Because Mr. Grapefruit believed that Army was Shiranui, obviously because they look the same.
Right.
And also because Shiranui comes every year when the victim is chosen. And so ultimately they believe Army to be Shiranui. And I mean, in a way that is sort of correct because Army is Shiranui reborn, but still.
That kind of puts Army in a whole new light then, because, you know, Orochi being a sign of bad things, you know, the arrow coming and whatnot. Well, I don't know if the arrow was explicitly tied into the sacrifice, but it definitely was in the present. But I always saw Shiranui one as a sign of good, but seems tied to Orochi somehow.
I mean, basically, I would say that the whole thing with Shiranui and being seen as a bad omen is entirely related, but it's a very similar thing to the whole Absol stuff in Pokemon, of Shiranui turned up when there was a horrible calamity about to occur, but it was to try and protect the people rather than to bring them harm, very much like Absols. They're there to tell you that something's going to happen rather than cause it. And that dog right there is missable.
I was just about to ask that.
If you do not feed that dog in the past right now, you will miss it forever, and that is the only animal in the entire game that is missable.
Oh, that sucks.
Indeed it does, but that's what you get. So, yes, what we're going to do is we are going to run around Kamiki Village from 100 years ago. Make sure we've picked up all the chests, because clearly we need to do that. We don't really, I've got more than enough dough. Although a bit more dough can always help,
Hell yeah.
because we've still got some moves to pick up from Onigiri-sensei. And also, we've got another few weapons to buy.
Not that we're going to use most of them, but still, it's the principle of the matter.
Well, actually, no, we are going to use most of the rest of the weapons in the game from this point onwards, which is quite nice. It's mostly the 8th Wonder that's the one that gets particularly screwed over.
Oh.
You buy that just before you come into the Spirit Gate, and then you're going to get the most powerful glaive very, very shortly in terms of the overarching game narrative. So it's a bit annoying that that weapon gets so monumentally screwed over, but these things happen.
So, what are we doing here in Kamiki, exactly? I'm seeing a lot of potential ancestors here, but does the plot lie within Kamiki, or is that out on the field, exactly?
I will let you wait and see, because spoilers!
I'm just rolling my eyes over here. Like, I can't exactly make that audible, you know, unless I, like, get my microphone and push it into my eyes and you hear the horrible sound. Well, that's monstrous, I apologise. I'm sorry for giving you that image, but you get my point. I'm being very flippant right now.
But you see, the whole reason that I'm being slightly unsubtly coy is because this is actually quite an amazing sequence in Okami, because you don't necessarily expect it to occur, and then all of a sudden time travel is introduced and you're just like, whoa, hold on a minute, this got a little sci-fi on us.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure how to feel about it right now. I'm still taking it in, because there's a lot of stuff in media that suddenly, without warning, introduces time travel, and things can either go really well, or they can go really badly, and there's literally no in-between.
You'll see how it goes. Now, this is something that I found quite funny. So, I thought that there would be a Konohana Blossom somewhere around here, and it seems as though the game recognises that there are meant to be Konohana Blossoms there, because it can locate where they would be, but they aren't there. So I suspect that's a bit of a programming issue.
Yeah.
That in bringing in this particular, well, repeating this location, what they did is they removed the Konohana Blossoms, but forgot to remove a little bit of code that left left the Vine ability available to just kind of flag up that it's there, even though it isn't and you can't do it.
To be fair, that's just kind of shoving something under the rug. It's not like every player's going to discover that.
Exactly, so it's all fine.
Man, they really don't like us.
Indeed. But we can still buy stuff, so that's quite nice, although there is absolutely nothing that is worth buying at this point, other than Holy Bones, really, and Soul and Steel Stargaze, but that's fine. Mostly I'm just trying to save up my yen for moves and weapons, because that's all I really have left that I need to buy.
God bless merchants. Oh, I'm scared for my life, but I still love capitalism. Still one more brush god to find. I think I've seen him, judging by future thumbnails. I'm pretty spoiled at this point in terms of like story, but not context, which is the most important part when it comes to spoilers.
Indeed, and now what I'm going to do is I'm hopefully going to realise, don't wake up well, it's not Susano, is it, clearly, but go get the dig spot first, complete the area, be a good boy, and then we can move on the plot, because I don't have to do anything else over here.
Here you go. Oh, that moonshot. Nice.
I know, it's glorious. And now that that is done, let us go speak to the sleeping warrior.
What was Susano's ancestor called? Remind me.
His ancestor was called Nagi.
There we go. Oh, it's the name of the fucking part, of course.
Obviously, Isun and Nami haven't quite got it into their heads what's occurred just yet.
Oh my god, that's the fucking Bayonetta symbol, his sword.
Well, sort of, yes. It's because, obviously, Bayonetta spends a lot of time with crescent moons.
Yeah, sorry, the motif then.
Yeah, motif. It's not the logo, really, but crescent moons are just important in general. But yeah, it's quite funny. Like, so obviously, Army and Isun think that this is Susano. It's quite clearly not Susano.
He's standing with poise, for one thing. You know, he's clearly demonstrating apt skill with a sword.
Exactly. But what's going to be quite funny is that, obviously, Susano had, well, held Nagi with such high reverence and was worried that he could never match his legacy. And so that's why he fought against it.
Yeah, I sense a twist coming.
Yeah, let's just say, Nagi might not be quite the spectacular hero he was made out to be.
Oh dear.
But yes, if you hadn't figured it out already, we're in the past. Exactly 100 years ago, when the Legend of Orochi took place, and now it's finally sinking in for our lead characters. It took them a while. But yes, Magical Spirit Gate sent us back 100 years, because Spirit Gates can do that.
This is pretty dope, mate. I'm totally down to clown with this. Let's do it.
Now we must face down against Nagi. He works very similarly to all of the other human enemies in the game, but he is quite stubborn. He's got quite a lot of health.
Doing pretty good damage here as well.
Yeah, so he's certainly no pushover, and it's certainly why I would recommend saving before you enter the Spirit Gate. Also saving before you go into this battle, because if you aren't really prepared for him, there's a chance that he may catch you off guard just a little bit.
Oh my god, he's got dagger jutsus, this is awesome.
So yes, I do really like this section of Okami, because just to see the Legend of Orochi happen in reality, it's just quite a fun thing to see.
Yeah, and I don't know what the exact term for it is, in terms of like storytelling and whatnot, but when you establish something like as being legend and myth, and then you become part of that myth and legend, it's just really exciting. Like, we've heard about Nagi's exploits since the start of the game, and about Shiranui and Orochi, but now we're getting to live the origin story. Exactly,
and actually, to be fair, I don't know what the literary term for that would be, because, well, it is surprisingly common in literature. I think because we, as a species, really like the idea of becoming part of the stories that we tell.
Oh yeah, well that's that's some form of appropriation, I think. Yeah.
I think this type of narrative is sort of the fantasy way of achieving that without it being too insanely cheap, because it's not like proper full-on fan fiction where you insert an original character that doesn't really fit into what's going on. You're just doing it because you want to be part of the story. This is actually putting similar characters in similar situations that are subtly different and therefore require a different tactic, really.
That was pretty slick, mate. That was a pretty smooth battle, apart from like the first minute or so.
We've knocked Nagi unconscious, and so there's a whole deal with Orochi still about. He's going to choose a victim, because obviously we've turned up and we're the bringer of bad news that he's going to choose a victim. Nami's the only pretty lady in the village right now. Suggests it's probably not going to end well, shall we say.
Yeah. There you go. So what would that make us? Well, oh my god, does that make us the celestial envoy to Orochi, or Shiranui to Orochi?
Well, let's just say that that's what the villagers... Well, they thought that... Well, the villagers thought that Shiranui was, like, the familiar of Orochi. But quite clearly that's not the case. But this should certainly look familiar.
Oh boy.
Oh, good, it is Mystic Grapefruit. I thought I was right on that front.
I'm more concerned with the fact that that kid's got a fucking really advanced toy of a UFO for some reason.
Well, it looks remarkably similar to the Spirit Gate and also to the Ark of Yamato, which would suggest that they are linked somehow.
Oh my god, I would know that roar in those symbols anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And so, yes, the ritual will repeat itself. Obviously, because this happened 100 years ago, we know it happened, and it happened exactly as it would happen 100 years later.
Oh.
Just as the arrow chose Kushi, it chose Nami.
Why don't they just move? If this keeps happening, why not just, like, build your house on wheels or something and continually move about the world?
Because that would make sense.
I just like the idea of Orochi getting really frustrated and whatnot.
It would be quite funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, about that. We kind of just knocked him flat.
Yeah, well, you see, since we have knocked him out, we might be able to sort a little something. So, Nami's going to change, and whilst she changes, she's probably also going to have a little bathe, make sure she's pure and clean.
Ah.
And we might have a little opportunity to do a little some.
Okay.
Which is going to make you piss yourself laughing, probably.
Okay, I'm ready for it, mate. I'm ready for hijinks, a little bit of wacky antics. Just because we're in the past and everything's going to shit doesn't mean I can't have a bit of a chuckle, you know?
Indeed. So you may remember the story that Nagi disguised himself as the maiden, and then went on to take on Orochi. Well, seeing as he's knocked out, shall we try and reenact that little bit of the legend?
We're gonna fucking puppet him all the way to Orochi, aren't we?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my god.
So, if we head over to where Nami is changing, you can see she's completely naked. can see naughty, naughty Kamiya-san. Trying to be a little bit of a pervert and putting a naked lady on the screen.
It's just done tastefully, it's fine.
Indeed it is. So, what we've got to do is not get caught, basically. And also, I think we saw a little bit of side boob right there.
That's my side boob.
So yeah, basically, you've got to do this slowly.
Oh my god.
If you run, you will get caught. So, we can pick it up. Just do not move quickly, and you've got to get a certain distance away before you can run. I mean, that was ridiculous, and I'm annoyed that I get caught, but it's fine. We will do it this time.
Well, it's a good job we're stuck in an infinite time loop here. You know, it's bites the dust in action.
Indeed. But yeah, you cannot run until there's this little cutscene.
Well, you know, it's a useful prompt at least.
So once we have that, let's return to Nagi and get him all kitted out, shall we?
Oh man. Can't believe this is happening.
Oh, this game. I love it so.
Oh, mwah, beautiful. Beautiful. I couldn't sacrifice a maiden fairer. This is amazing.
Indeed it is. And so we're going to save up, maybe humiliate Nagi a little bit, and then it's time to head on to Shinshu Field.
Oh man, that music. It's back again. Alright, yeah, I'm supposed to sign off. See you next time for more Okami. Bye bye!